Check your deleted messages. Somewhere in there is a text that says something like, "Hi, Jessica, are we still on for dinner Friday?" You thought it was a wrong number. It wasn't. According to the United States Department of Justice, many of those texts trace back to one organization, a Cambodian conglomerate that prosecutors say ran the largest fraud operation on the planet. $15 billion in Bitcoin seized by the U.S. government, the largest forfeiture in American history. And here is the part nobody sees coming. Prosecutors say the people typing those friendly texts were not scammers by choice. Many were prisoners. This is the story of Chen Zhi, the Prince Group, and the crime empire hiding behind the most boring text message on your phone. And in January, it finally started to collapse. The scam has an ugly industry name, pig butchering. The logic is exactly what it sounds like. First, fatten the pig. A stranger texts you, apologizes for the wrong number, and keeps chatting. They're friendly, attractive, successful. Over weeks, the conversation drifts to money, and eventually to a crypto trading platform where they claim to make effortless profits. The platform looks flawless. Real charts. Real customer service. Your first small investment grows, and you can even withdraw it. That's the fattening. Then comes the slaughter. You invest bigger. The gains keep coming, on screen. But when you try to cash out, there's suddenly a tax, a fee, a minimum. And then the platform, the profits, and your charming new friend all vanish at once. Americans alone have lost billions of dollars a year to this exact script. And according to federal prosecutors, one company industrialized it like no one else on Earth. The numbers are hard to absorb. The FBI's internet crime reports show crypto investment fraud as the single most expensive scam category in America, and pig butchering is its engine. Individual victims routinely lose six figures. Retirement accounts, home equity loans, borrowed money from family. One conversation at a time, over months with a person who never existed. On paper, Prince Holding Group was a Cambodian success story. Real estate towers, a commercial bank, resorts, an airline stake, shopping malls. Its founder and chairman, Chen Zhi, who also went by Vincent, was in his 30s and already decorated with advisory roles and connections at the top of Cambodian politics. He held citizenships and passports across multiple countries. The empire looked legitimate because much of its surface was legitimate. But according to the indictment unsealed in Brooklyn federal court in October 2025, the surface was a laundering machine. Prosecutors allege that behind the towers and the bank sat a network of walled compounds that generated staggering profits. At its peak, investigators estimate the operation earned more than $30 million per day. Per day. That kind of money doesn't come from real estate. So where was it coming from? Chen cultivated the image relentlessly. Photographs with officials, honorary titles and advisory roles to the government. Companies registered across Hong Kong, Singapore, the British Virgin Islands. When your name is on a bank and your friends run the country, who is going to raid your office buildings? For years, the answer was nobody. The answer, prosecutors say, was sitting inside those compounds. Office buildings ringed with razor wire and barred windows. Thousands of phones and computers running day and night. And the people at the keyboards? Most of them had answered a job ad. Remember that text on your phone? Now meet the person who sent it. According to the Justice Department, the scam texts flooding American phones were typed by workers held in forced labor compounds across Cambodia. The recruitment pitch was ordinary. Customer service jobs, good salary, housing included. People flew in from across Asia. On arrival, prosecutors say, their passports were confiscated. The doors locked from the outside. Inside, they were handed phones, scripts, and quotas. So many conversations, so many victims, so much money. Fail the quota, and the punishments described in the indictment and by human rights investigators were brutal. This is the detail that changes the whole story. Pig butchering isn't just a fraud against the person losing their savings. It runs on a second set of victims, the people forced to commit it. When you understand that, those texts stop being an annoyance and become something much darker. Every message is the output of an assembly line, and prosecutors say the Prince Group ran some of the biggest assembly lines in the world. The empire had industrialized human beings on both ends of the phone. Human rights investigators and the United Nations estimate that hundreds of thousands of people have been trafficked into scam compounds across Southeast Asia. Cambodia, Myanmar, Laos. Entire office towers converted into locked dormitories and phone farms. Survivors describe confiscated documents, 18-hour shifts, beatings for missed targets, and being sold between operations like inventory. The indictment against Chen Zhi describes exactly this model inside Prince Group facilities. Now follow the money, because this is where the story becomes historic. Scam proceeds in crypto are traceable, so the operation allegedly laundered them through a maze. Mixers, shell companies, gambling platforms, and even legitimate-looking crypto mining operations that turned dirty coins into freshly mined clean ones. According to prosecutors, the profits funded the lifestyle you'd expect: private jets, luxury watches, vacation homes, yachts. But the centerpiece was simpler. Investigators traced approximately 127,271 Bitcoin, worth around $15 billion, sitting in private wallets. And the private keys to those wallets, according to the forfeiture complaint, were in Chen Zhi's own possession. One man, prosecutors allege, personally holding the keys to one of the largest piles of criminal proceeds ever assembled. For years, that seemed untouchable. He operated from a country where he had elite protection, citizenship, and political cover. The United States could write indictments all day. It couldn't reach him. Until it reached something better. The mining trick deserves a second look because it shows the sophistication involved. You take criminal Bitcoin, use it to buy electricity and mining hardware, and the network pays you out in brand new coins with no history attached. It's a laundry that prints its own clean money. According to investigators, the operation ran industrial mining farms partly for this purpose. Because there's one thing about Bitcoin that every criminal loves and every prosecutor knows: whoever controls the keys controls the money. And somehow, in October 2025, the keys stopped being his. In October 2025, federal prosecutors in Brooklyn unsealed the indictment: wire fraud conspiracy and money laundering conspiracy, carrying decades in prison. The same day, the Treasury Department sanctioned the Prince Group network, and the Justice Department filed the largest forfeiture action in its history, moving to permanently seize the 127,271 Bitcoin. Those funds are now in the custody of the United States government. Chen Zhi denied wrongdoing, and his lawyers are fighting the seizure in court, arguing the government's case stretches the evidence. Then came January 6, 2026. Cambodian authorities arrested Chen Zhi, stripped him of his Cambodian citizenship, and extradited him. But not to New York, to China, the country where he was born, which has its own charges and its own opaque legal system. So the man is in Chinese custody, the money is in American custody, and the American courtroom that indicted him may never see him. Meanwhile, the compounds his network allegedly ran are the subject of raids, sanctions, and investigations across Southeast Asia. The empire is being dismantled in 3 legal systems at once. The United Kingdom joined with its own sanctions, freezing London mansions tied to the network. Authorities across Southeast Asia followed with raids and arrests of associates. What protected the empire for a decade, political cover in one country, became worthless the moment 3 governments moved at once. Whatever happens to Chen Zhi, the machine he allegedly built is still running in other hands, and its product is still landing on your phone. So take the defense manual with you. Rule 1. Nobody who texts you by accident wants to discuss investments. The friendly stranger who pivots to crypto is reading a script. Rule 2. Real platforms let you withdraw. The moment cashing out requires a tax, a fee, or one more deposit. You're not investing, you're being harvested. Rule 3. Check the loneliness factor. These scripts are engineered for people who want the conversation to be real. That's not a character flaw. It's the attack surface. If a new online friendship and a new investment opportunity arrive together, that's not a coincidence. It's a pipeline. And finally, if you've already sent money, report it immediately. Recovery is rare, but reports are how investigators trace this network in the first place. $15 billion got seized because somebody followed the receipts. One more thing worth saying plainly. If this has happened to you or someone you love, the shame belongs entirely to the operation, not the victim. These scripts were refined against millions of people by an organization with more revenue than most banks. Being human is not a mistake. The fight over the $15 billion is just beginning, and what China does with Chen Zhi may never be public. We'll cover both when the news lands. Until then, check your messages. If there's a friendly stranger slowly steering you toward an investment, show them this video instead. Comment below if you've ever received one of these texts. I'm betting you have. Subscribe for the next investigation. Financial crimes hiding in plain sight, told with the receipts.